guys, Alupop here. So Mother's Day is right around the corner and I kind of wanted to do a video just kind of honoring the mothers in the world. This is the mom-inspired book tag created by Blissful and Bookish. Her original video will be linked down in the description. Question 1. Best friend. We do everything with our moms, and we can count on them. Pick characters in a book whose friendship you admire. I don't read a lot of books with very strong friendships, at least that I have noticed, or that I feel that I can admire. But probably one of the few that I have read, and the only one that really comes to mind, are the 4 main characters from the Circle of Magic series by Tamora Pierce. They don't start out as friends, and in fact, kind of hate each other in the beginning, but as the series goes on and they are put into situations where they kind of don't have any choice but to trust each other, they learn to rely on one another and are there for each other. Question 2. Comfort. Moms are always there when we're sick or we're sad. What's a book that always puts you in a better mood? So I basically took this question as what is a comfort read for you? And my comfort reads tend to be very nostalgic. Things that I had read as a child, or that maybe I read maybe when I was a little older, but came to me in a very particular time. And for me, I did choose to go with the Immortal series by Tamora Pierce. These books were my introduction to Tamora Pierce, who quickly became one of my favorite authors. So I have a very nostalgic feeling for them, but I read them when I was an adult. I read them when I was probably about 20. Whereas I know a lot of people have read them when they were much, much younger. However, when I read them, I borrowed them from the library in a particular time when I wasn't really reading a whole lot and my mental health was very not good. And these books really rekindled my love for reading and kind of helped me feel better about myself, I guess. And to this day, this is still a series that I will go back to for a pick-me-up. Question 3. Doesn't give up. Moms endure and never give up on us. What's a book you were tempted to DNF, but didn't give up on and finished? So I am kind of cheating for this question. The book I chose is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and I actually did DNF this. I DNF'd it twice. Not because it was a bad book, but because it's a 1,300 page brick. It is very big and very intimidating. And up until I had read this book, I had never read a book that was as big as this. The most pages that I had maybe read was maybe 900 at most. 800 roughly is my usuals for biggest. But this was 1,300. I knew that I was going to give it 5 stars. I just had to get past the idea that it was intimidating. And I did that by going through the audiobook, and I finished it last year. And like I thought, I did give it 5 stars. Question 4. Selfless. Moms always sacrifice and put others before themselves. What's a book that you had to sacrifice for? This one could be for money that you had to save for, or sleep, or maybe you just got it in a way that you weren't used to. And for me, this one actually has to do a little bit with my mom. I have a signed copy of The Black Elf Stone by Terry Brooks. I don't have it with me at the moment because it's in storage, but there will be a picture up somewhere here. And at the time, I couldn't get it myself because I didn't have the money. But I didn't know if there would be copies by the time that I got paid. So I talked about it with my mom, and she told me that she would get it for me. It was a little bit more expensive than we thought it was going to be, but she bought it, and I paid her back the following paycheck. Question 5. Love. Moms are pure love. They always make us feel special and important no matter what. What is your favorite love story? It doesn't have to be a romance, which is probably pretty good because I don't read a lot of romances. I basically took this to mean who is my OTP, otherwise one true pairing. And I do have two that come to mind. I don't want to talk spoilers, so I'm just going to hold up first this book. This is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and I will tell you that my favorite character is Nynaeve Almira. And then I'm going to hold up this book and say that my favorite character is Dane. If you read these series, you know who they end up with. Question 6. Homemaker. Moms make sure that we are comfortable at home. If you could live with a fictional family for a day, whose home would you go to? I don't read a lot of books with family figures, but I do have two that come to mind. The Weasley family from Harry Potter and the Higurashi family from Inuyasha. For this one, I'm basically going purely off of the anime because I'm not really that far into the series as a whole. But I kind of like both of these families for very similar reasons. Basically that they are both just very accepting. Molly and Arthur Weasley basically took in both Harry and Hermione without a second thought, and they feel like another family to Harry. The Higurashi family took in Inuyasha and honestly were barely even weirded out by his ears? ? At least that I have seen in the series as a whole. Not to mention, Kagome's grandpa seems very much like very into history, and as I do enjoy history, I would just find it very fun listening to the kinds of things that he knows. Question 7. Forgiving. Despite our mistakes and shortcomings, moms are always ready to forgive. Name a character you hate, but would eventually forgive. There are very few characters that I absolutely hate, but I do have one that comes to mind in a book that I'm actually planning on getting rid of, and that is The Name of the Wind. I really did not like Kvothe. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. The young Kvothe is very arrogant and honestly just kind of an ass. At least that's the way I found him. It's satisfying when he gets taken down a peg, but honestly, it doesn't seem to happen all that often, and I didn't really care. Most of the book is in the perspective of a young Kvothe. Although there are a few chapters where you get a more present-day Kvothe, and he seems a lot more world-weary. And like he knows he's made mistakes and he accepts that he made mistakes. And I like those chapters a lot more. I could probably forgive Kvothe, but I'm not willing to continue with the series. If I had known him in real life, I could probably forgive him knowing what he becomes in later life. Question 8. Teachers. Moms are our first teachers. They continue to mentor us and guide us throughout our life. Name a book that has taught you things that will stay with you forever. I don't really have any particular book that has stuck with me in such a way. I have in my notes Chicken Soup for the Soul with a question mark. So since this is going in the video, that is basically the only thing that has come to mind. Here are just a few of my more favorite Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I tend to feel more motivated after reading Chicken Soup for the Soul, and certainly some of the stories have gotten to me. Also, I realized that you couldn't really see the titles, so here are the titles. Find Your Inner Strength, Inspiration for Writers, and Grandparents. Question 9. Dedication. What is a book that you would like to dedicate to your mom and why? Of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't also put a Chicken Soup for the Soul book here, though this is one that I've never actually read and I also don't own, and that is Chicken Soup for the Soul, Thanks to My Mom. 101 stories giving praise to the mothers of the world. I would dedicate this one to you and my mother-in-law, just because these would be stories saying the things that I don't feel like I say enough, which would be basically thanks for everything both of you have done. And that is the mom-inspired book tag. As per usual, if you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged by me. Let me know in the comments that you did it and I will check it out. And I will see you next time. Bye!